Hello guys, welcome to Goodness Living. This is Sobile. Thank you so much if you are a returning subscriber for always coming back to watch our videos. If you are new here, thank you for stopping by. If you have not subscribed, consider subscribing to our videos. So today, I want to talk about why the interest in the village land. Why the interest in the village land? This is basically tapping into mindset. Guys, I'm at the park. I'm still at the park. Here, it's my beautiful space, my safe space, and there is no one around here. It's just me. Beautiful trees. Look at those trees. They are so beautiful. Forgot what these trees called. I think in Zulu you call this Mkambati. Am I right, guys? Does anyone know who speaks Zulu? Does anyone know what this tree called Mkambati? But I'm not sure in English what is it called. Let me just do this. I'm told that there is an app that you can use when you want to know the plants. You can just take a picture, and when you want to know the plants, then you can locate them. I don't know that, but I'm told that there's something like that. So this is a wetland here. So yes, why the interest in the village land? So this one, you must just listen. I know most of you do not like to listen when somebody is speaking. You just want someone to show you things instead of a person speaking. But this is very interesting. It's very interesting, I can assure you. Because it taps into your mindset. It taps into our mindsets. So why the interest in the village land? Especially one would argue and be like, why? Oh, okay. They are constructing that side. See there? They are constructing, and I'm sure they're making noise. So I think maybe I need to move. There's construction there. See the trucks? I need to move. Because otherwise we're gonna have issues. Okay, so why the interest in the village land? Okay, my family and I, family of five, we decided to move from Johannesburg to Durban. I would say in search of financial freedom. So let me just qualify that. Let me just move away, because I see as I'm moving also it's windy. So guys, this is where I am sitting. I'm sitting on a small log. See a tree behind me. So this is where I'm sitting. So why the interest in the village land? I was still telling you that my family and I, family of five, basically my husband and I and our 3 children, we moved from Johannesburg to Durban in search of financial freedom. Why so? So basically, I'll just summarize this because I don't want to be making this video long, but telling you all the things that are in the past. Maybe I'll talk about them in the past. I'll talk about them in the future, what actually happened in the past. So basically, we decided that we're moving from Johannesburg to Durban in 2022. In search of financial freedom. A person would say in search of financial freedom. KwaZulu-Natal is not a commercial city, if I can put it that way. Johannesburg is a commercial city, obviously followed by Cape Town, which is your tourist city. So Durban, maybe it was number 3 in that order, but I'm not sure now with a lot of things that have been happening in KwaZulu-Natal. I'm not sure where you'll place them economically. But one will say, then why are you coming here? And then you'll be saying you're searching for financial freedom. So it was just simple. We had a house here, and the house that we always had, we'd used it for holidays because we're staying in Johannesburg. We had another house, or we had houses in Johannesburg. So, and some of those other houses were for business and were for businesses. And we also had a house where we were staying with our kids. But somehow things went wrong, or things went left, so whereby we had to lose most of those properties, or we had to let go of almost all of the properties in Johannesburg. we had some financial issues, so we had to let go of those houses in Johannesburg, and then now we're left with the house that we're staying in. And then now we decided to say, you know what, I think we still had financial pressures. We had to make a decision to say, did we also want to let go of that one house that we were staying in Johannesburg? And then the decision was like, no, let's let go of that house and then come back to Durban, because in Durban we had a house that we were renting out, but it was bigger. The house that we're staying in currently, the house was bigger, that we could actually share the house with the tenants, unlike the one in Johannesburg, which was in a complex, which you could not share with any other person except you as a family. So then that was the decision that made us to come back to Durban. But out of that experience, then one had to learn to say, how can we do things differently? How can we not find ourselves in a financial bind one more time or in the future? So what are the things that we need to think about, or things that we need to do so that we relieve ourselves from financial pressures, or even in the future? Because you could actually do businesses and be okay, or if the businesses work and be okay, but what if businesses do not work? So what do you do? So you need to be wise, and we prayed for wisdom and said, you know, God, we are praying for wisdom, and we have to look at life differently. We have to look at things differently. Things that probably would have been not a consideration in the past ended up becoming something to consider. So because even now, I think there's a question, there's a video that I posted here saying one is not understanding as to where to go. Like, it felt like one was at the crossroad, because the idea was like, when we came to Durban, it wasn't like, this is it, we're coming back to Durban, we're coming here to circle forever or whatever. It was just like to say, let's relieve financial pressures. Now the question was, what do we do in the future? Did we still want to go back to Johannesburg? Because honestly, we love Johannesburg. Or do we want to go somewhere else other than Johannesburg? Or do we still want to remain here in KwaZulu-Natal? But then again, because we had started looking for village land, and then village land, and then we were asking ourselves, where do we position that process of us looking for a village land? And if we find the village land, what are we thinking about it? What's our intention about those things? So I think the answer to all of that was the fact that even if you can have village land, or you can have any other property, you can have multiple properties, but as and when there is a need, you can always dispose them off and then decide to move somewhere else. So we didn't want to be tied up by the fact that this is now what we have, so we have to be tied up. So that was basically the decision, to say it doesn't matter what we have, either it's village land or additional properties in the future or even now, that should not limit us in terms of where we want to be, like in the future. So, but then again, I think I asked this question because as much as we're talking about that, I still inquired, because as we were praying about it, I still inquired at the church to say, it looks like we're struggling with direction. So hence, like, it felt like we're at the crossroads as to where do we go with family, where do we stay, what do we do with our lives, are we pursuing our purpose in life, and all of those kind of things. So, and then Prophet was praying for me, but it felt like after the prayers that there was this revelation. I cannot fully say it's full revelation, because I'm told that prophetically you usually get revelation in pieces. I don't know whether that's the right word, pieces. No, basically not having full revelation of what you've been praying for, but you get part revelation. Maybe that's the right word. You get part revelation. So, but what I got made me realize that at this point in time, we are at the right place at this point in time, unless if something else were to disturb that, or disturb peace, or whatever it is. But, or if there were like political issues that could mean someone has to leave. But in the meantime, what was clear is the fact that we are at the right place. So, because the question that made me realize to say we are at the right place was what I asked my husband, was like, the reason that made us come to Durban has that reason been fulfilled? Are we now okay with that reason that made us to come to Durban? We said we were coming here just to relieve financial pressures. So have we done so successfully? Are we comfortable that now we can go back either to Johannesburg, or we can go to Cape Town, or go overseas, or wherever we want to go? Are we now okay? The answer was not 100% so. Because for me, when we talk about relieving financial pressures, that will mean that we are in a position where we are financially free. Even if we are not working, we would not have issues. But so long as we are at a point whereby for us to be able to afford what we have, then we are not financially free. And then we're asking ourselves as to how do we make ourselves financially free? As I've indicated, it could either be business, it could either be any other way of getting money, a legal way of getting money. So, and also another way would be try minimize expenses. We have always loved plots in the suburbs, like fully developed areas. But the question was, if we get those plots at this time in our lives, then that will mean we are bonding ourselves what we were trying to relieve ourselves from. And remember, I said we were trying to relieve financial pressures. So for us to get a plot along with the property that we're staying in, because it's not fully paid up, we're still paying bond. So then to get an additional plot of land for us to do other things that we want to do, then that will mean that we are not getting ourselves rid of financial pressures, but we're still going in circle. So, and then we're like, can we consider maybe a village land and be still able to do what we wanted to do? Because the idea of us having to have a plot was to be able to do sustainable living type, or whereby we are going to grow our veggies, chicken and whatnot, those type of things. If we can do them in the plot, but obviously if we buy a plot, then we are bonding ourselves. We are not relieving ourselves from the financial pressures that we wanted to relieve ourselves from. So, and then we decided to say, let's consider the village. We are both coming from villages, so we have experienced village life. It's not like it's something new. It's just that when we are growing up, I don't know whether it's just me, so you can comment in the comment section below if it's not just me who's just thinking the way I'm thinking now. When I was growing up, because we were poor, very poor at home, so when I was growing up, it was that thing of saying, you know what, when I grow up, would be able to afford financial freedom for myself and my family, I'll make sure that I stay in the suburbs. So it is as if like when you're staying in the suburbs, you've made it, which obviously there is some truth to it, because obviously you cannot stay in the suburbs without having acquired some financial freedom. It may not be financial freedom, but there is some kind of affordability, even if it means you are still going to the bank to get finance, but you've got that credibility that the lenders can lend you money for you to be able to buy bond or all of that. So then the question was like, no, we'll stay in the suburbs. So and move away from the villages, because to me at the time when I was young, being at the villages meant poverty, because when I was growing up, I saw poverty all around, and also we're very poor, I must say. So going to the suburbs and moving away from home and all of that was, for me, it was a way of attaining success. Even though I still went back home when I finished my first diploma. When I started working, I went back home to build a home for our family. Before I got married, built a home for our family, and obviously we have moved from there. That place was called Indwedwe. So, and then we continued with life, because we wanted to say, because our family, my mom, my dad, and all the other people and the aunties in the village, they were still staying there, but we just wanted to make sure that when we visit home, we also had some comfort. moving away from dilapidated structures, mud houses, all of that, to a four-roomed home with big rooms, for me was an achievement. And also my mom affording to build the big rondavels with blocks, because when I was growing up, you'd build using mud if you could not afford. So to get to a point where by now you are building with blocks and cement, either it's your big round or rondavel, or you're building a 4-roomed house or 6-roomed house, or whatever many rooms you decide to build. So for me, that was the beginning of affordability. So that we did at home, in our first home. So even our current home, we have done just that. So we did that because we wanted to be comfortable when we visit at home. But it was like, it would be home, but not my home with my immediate family, meaning my children and my husband. Me, my husband, my children would be in the suburbs somewhere. So that was always the idea. But then again, now, coming back to this story of attaining financial freedom, I had to reconsider our stand about the villages and being exposed, thanks to YouTube, I'll be honest with you, seeing other people either building in plots or building off-grid houses or homes, or or building in the villages. Mara and the team, like now, also contributed to us thinking that maybe it's not a bad idea to build in the villages after all. Just have to get good villages and build there. The reason why we wanted to build there, as much as we still want to keep our suburb home, but we wanted to make sure that there is a place where we would build with cash, buy land with cash, build with cash, not having to be bonded. Should we decide to say, you know what, things are bad in the suburbs, but there is a home where we can go and stay. Yes, we're going to stay in the villages when we want to stay, but it will be our second home. So that was the idea. So that's basically the mindset that made us want to build, or look for village land. Because to me, I was just thinking that if you still want to be in the suburbs and you're not doing successful businesses, then it means you must continue being an employee until you are 65. Not to say that I'm saying I'm dissing that arrangement. Some other people are very happy with that arrangement. I'm also in that arrangement. I'm working currently, but I want to have options. I know there was a time where I left employment, 2017. I left full-time employment to do businesses. Then it didn't work out. Basically, some of the reasons why we found ourselves in a financial bind, financial pressures, it was because my husband stopped going to full-time employment. I also stopped going to full-time employment in 2017. And then things then turned sour, turned haywire. And then, I had to find ways. Hence, that's why we even had to. I'm just summarizing that portion of our lives. Hence, that's why we had to find a way of saying, how do we relieve ourselves now from all of these financial pressures? Coming to Durban was one of those. Getting the village land is one of those as well. Just to say, you know what, let's have options. Should we decide in the future to say, you know what, let's really consider this thing of business, or better yet for me, ministry. I want to be a full-time minister. What do I do? So it's just one of those things to say we need to have options. Yes, I can do what I'm doing part-time. Like I can do ministry part-time. I can do other businesses part-time until I see where income comes or not. Comes, not or not. Comes. But for now, I just wanted to make sure that whatever that we do, we don't create, it doesn't look like we are in a rat race, or it doesn't look like we are in a circle or in a cycle where things keep on repeating themselves. Because to me, I don't call that wisdom. I just feel that when you've been through something, you need to move on. So that's basically, you need to move on, start afresh. Yes, it's true that you can still make mistakes, because We don't know the future. It can only be God that knows the future. Yes, we can pray about it and then get affirmation. Hence, that's why we always need to ask God about where we need to be going, what we need to be doing. But being carnal, sometimes we don't get that right. So sometimes we take decisions thinking they are the correct decisions, meanwhile they are not. So that's basically the mindset around the village. So would you consider staying in a village? And if so, what would be your reasons? These are my reasons. If you listen clearly, I know maybe I've stretched the video a bit, but if you listen closely, then you realize why now the interest at the villages. I'm actually also answering a question that was asked by my manager to say, you grew up in the villages, why do you now all of a sudden have an interest in the villages? That was his question, but obviously I didn't answer him, but I'm answering that question here to say why an interest in the villages. So guys, if you have watched this far and you have not subscribed to our channel, consider subscribing. Love you so much, and bye for now.